Hey, it's Wolfy-Chan, and I'm back with another manga review. And this one is The Devil's Line. Oh, this one. This one I fell in love with. Oh, goodness gracious. And so I started reading it, I think, this morning, and have finished it today. Which, it's not the same day as it's going to release, but think of it that way. Tsukasa. She is an adorable girl who's going to college and is kind of living on her own. Well, this guy who is her friend that she's known forever, I think, tried to ask her out once and she just didn't like it, is walking her home because there have been vampire attacks. Suddenly they step in and she's been feeling like this guy's been following her. And she's like, oh goodness. But they run into this guy and he basically is like tries to drag her away and is like, let's go a different route. And this guy who is Ainze, I'll go with Ainze, grabs him and is like, because he broke his thumb open, is like, you don't like my blood? And he's a vampire, which in this series they call them devils instead of vampires, so it's kind of interesting. He's like, I would never hurt her. I don't ever want to hurt her. I don't want her blood. It's not like that. And it's a cute thing that he kind of touches her face as the guy tranks him. And he captures him, and she's not okay. But Ainze takes her home, right outside her door, and he's like, I'm sorry about all that. He's captured, and that he sees the blood kind of trickling from like a bite or something, and she's like, you caused it, you're violent. And then you find out that this guy's a vampire, but half of one, licks the blood and starts making out with her. And I didn't realize that he's kind of in between her legs and is holding up her leg as he's making out with her. Then he stops and is like, I'm sorry. I'm also a half. And I think it seems like she tranked him, and he's like, you tranquilized me? And she's like, you did it to yourself. Well, I needed it, but I better go inside and you be safe. Gotta go. And then jumps off, and she's at like a 6-story apartment building. But then she dreams of him touching her without clothes and wakes up flustered about it. And I'm like, that a girl. You've never kissed a guy and that was your first kiss, and it's a vampire, and you're amazing. Goes to school, finds out that the guy didn't come back. Her friend is like, okay, well, he's gone to jail, but he went to Canada. It literally, it says something that he went to Canada. I'm like, aren't you guys in Japan technically? Okay, Canada. So she gets home and is like, I wonder, and because I think he told her his name was Ainze. Wonder how Ainze is. Opens the curtain. He's about to knock on the window of the balcony. And also, as a side note, this is like his first taste of blood, and he's never really tasted blood before. So it's interesting. It's interesting. I promise you, it's more interesting that I'm getting the giggles about all this. But she lets him in. And he's like, should I come in? Like, this is your, and it's all in his brain, but he's like, should I even come in? I mean, this is unlocked. Gets a little angry at her because she doesn't lock a lot of her stuff. You can go into the Kotatsu. There you go. Took me a little bit. And get nice and warm because I know it's cold and stuff like that. And he does, and he's like, oh. But he kind of acts like he's falling asleep. But then she puts her warm ass coat on him, and he's like, because he gets scared, and then he's like, she smells nice. And then falls asleep. And you find out a little bit about his past, where it was really snowing. He made a snow angel. And he was also on the lookout for another vampire. And his real name is Yuki. And the person that he was friends with was Yukio. Or Yukino? I think it's something like that. Yukio? And that's a girl. And I'm like, Yuki. Why is like a lot of guys or girls are interchangeable with Yuki, and it's like a double U and then Ki? Wakes up And she's passed out, and she was supposed to be doing a project because she's in college. Um, and he's like, I gotta go, and goes off. And she's like, oh, he left his weird tranquilizer belt thing. Oh no. And follows him. Which this is like late at night. And I'm like, really? Okay. Him. And he meets her friend, and she's like, she didn't want to kill him, but she stabbed him and drank his blood, and all this stuff. And then, like, one of the cops that's also knows about devils is like, look, if it was an accident, you don't have to go to jail or anything like that. We understand. And she's like, an accident? But she's very upset about it. And he jumps onto the ledge that she's, like, ripping. And he's like, just come with us. We'll get it squared away. And then you find out that her husband is actually still alive. And she goes back to her normal life in a way. And the husband's like, I'm so sorry. You look like you were really sad. I thought blood would make you happy. Dude, she said she didn't like blood, didn't like the sight of blood. You are a piece of work, sir. Make me question humanity. But he sees her, he hears something, and is like, yeah. But then he goes back like, oh, I guess I'll go check on her. Which I think it's just a fixation of the blood of her. But sees her walking in, and he's like, opens it, it's like, you didn't even, like, lock your thing. It's late. You can't be doing this. And she's like, I'm sorry about your belt. And he's like, oh, my belt. Still, you shouldn't be doing that. It's late. And she's like, I'm sorry, but you just seemed really cold and stuff. Do you want me to make you a hot pot tomorrow? And he's like, hot pot? It's kind of a cute little exchange if he doesn't like hot pot, but hot pot. And she's like, it's okay, if you don't want it. And he's like, oh, sure. Goes and sleeps under the kotatsu again. It's adorable. But then we go into like the rest of the operatives because he's an officer technically. And we meet one, I think her name was Julie. She's like, that there's a new rule in the article of so-and-so that devils and humans, they can marry, but it's a thing about they cannot, they can't do that. Because the demons, I guess it's part of the blood and stuff like that, they could go crazy and fully transform, which I don't know what that is, and kill the person that they're bound chicken wowing. But now there's a new law that says you can do that as long as a doctor is there. Like if the demon goes berserk, he can easily just be like, what's your drink? And then that'd be a very weird mood killer. Just, oh no, you're gonna go crazy, Trank. Thanks for being here. Now he's kind of asleep. So it's okay. We'll just see you later. Yeah, this is normal, I guess. She realizes the next day that she has a book that she hasn't returned to her professor, which her friend makes an off comment in the beginning that the professor really likes her. And she's like, no, he's married and has 2 kids. Yeah. I thought it was a weird offhand remark. Until we get to that part of the book. Which there is some nudity. I think this is, it says 13 plus. I'm gonna put it as a 17 plus. Just to be safe. Because there is a bit of nudity. A bit. Not that the first thing that you see her dream and she's naked in doesn't give that away. But she goes to return the book. And her teacher's there, and she's like, it took 6 months. And he's like, it's okay, I'll lend you another one. And she's like, but it would, lead to another 6 months. And he's like, if it took you another 6 months to make an amazing, theory or essay or something like that, to take it. But he grabs the book and gives it to her, and then kisses her forehead. And she's utterly like, and freezes. And he goes, no resistance, but no rejection. Our vampire boy, Yuki, is walking up to her college because she told him where it was, and it's like, I don't know why I feel like she's too late. We're gonna have, you know, hot pot, and I'm hungry. I'm hungry because I'm half human and I need food. And he's like, maybe I should kind of like go home, but I'll wait. Here's something, and then we go back to Tsubasa, and it's not escalated as far as it could have been, but it's escalated to her top and naked parts that are above, and she's not okay, but she's not screaming. And I don't know if this happened to her before or if it's just like her teacher and she doesn't know how to feel about it. But she basically, like, I think he gave her a cup of coffee to drink while he did this to her. So and it doesn't look like she threw it because the handle's still there. I think they were close enough to the window that she physically punched the coffee and the glass, and the shards crinkled back, and she cut herself. And he's like, that was my favorite mug. Huh. Really calmly. That was my favorite mug. You know, if you didn't like that mug, you could have just told me. I don't like this teacher. But she does. She's like kind of swings away and opens the curtains. And he's like, what are you doing? Well, our little Yuki at the window sees the blood because she did that. She's crying. Full vamp mode, not full transforming, but like kicks the glass through, jumps in. Teacher just like full on and you don't see the punches connect or anything like that, but I'm guessing he does a couple really bad ones because later on in the book it says that he shattered his face. But he does that, wraps his coat around her, turns away because he smells her blood, and she's holding his hand, or cut hand, to his, and he's like, don't touch me, just when people get here, tell them a vamp broke in, and then tell them about the sexual assaultment. Do that, I'm getting out of here. He goes into, I'm gonna guess, open bathroom, and once again sniffs her blood and is like, it's her blood. And this is where I think it leads to like sexual stuff. That's why like devils and humans can't, because vampires or devils think of it in a sexual way. That's why you would need a doctor present. Because even he just undoes his pants in the bathroom, kicking and sniffing her blood, and you don't see any movement. You just see his hand disappeared in his pants. And I think after that, like around Christmas time, yeah, all he can think about is like biting her. So that's an awesome part. But it gets closer and closer to December, and so she wants to give him a gift, but she hasn't seen him in like a couple weeks. She like wraps up this gift, and is like, I don't know whenever I'll see him, but I'll put it on my balcony. Boop, boop. And then she goes to bed, and he's like, God, I haven't seen her in a while, and she's in his coat. He goes up and he's like, I'll just check on her. Oh, she got me a scarf. Oh, on a side note, Julie, the other like office agent, who's a vampire, go figure, is like hitting on Yuki and wanting to get into his pants. And she's like, his half human side like really turns me on. Yeah, and like the doctor's there talking to her about it, and she's like, you should be there when I get it on with him. And he's like, I don't know why. And then Yuki shows up and is like, it's never happening. Never. But back to Christmas. So he sees the scarf and is like, no, she didn't lock it again. No, she's asleep. You gonna kiss her back of her ear, neck area. And she's like, and he's like, what? You're awake? And she's like, kind of. It's cold. And he's like, that's my coat, isn't it? Well, your coat's really warm. And then asks the proverbial, are you okay? She's crying, and then he holds her, and it's an adorable thing. So I like that part. He basically kind of then lives with her. Kind of, because you see him at his apartment where the doctor who does like a yearly checkup on him is like, come New Year's Day, come to see me, check up, I'll give you some more drinks. Woot. Which he makes in the kind of also the beginning of the book a thing of like he doesn't want to get addicted to tranquilizers, but that's kind of the only way to control himself. It's like New Year's Day, and she goes to get hot pot, and he's kind of joined her a little bit. And this guy kind of runs out towards her by, I think, accident. I don't know. But food drops, and I think he smells him, Yuki, on her, and gives her all her stuff back and runs off. And Yuki's like, I don't like that guy, but you're too trustworthy of people. Like, but I'm not. He was really nice. And start making hot pot, but he's like, she's just so adorable, and I'm gonna kiss her again. So they're like about to, like, he holds her face and is like drawing it in the air, and then a thud happens outside on the balcony, and just, like a really fake meowing, I'm guessing. But they then get a call because the other two agents, which is Julie and this other guy, is investigating this somebody died like a vampire thing. He then makes the connection because she smells a lot of blood on the owner. That doesn't smell normal for a human. And he's like, how can you even smell that? And she turns to a vampire, and you find that out. That she's like, because I'm a vampire and I know what it smells like. You find out that the vampire, who is the guy on the balcony, didn't kill or anything. And he said the one time he did was out of anger, and he pushed the guy into some unconsciousness, and he bled, and he drank him. And he never wanted to do that ever again. But for the girl that got killed, he would have done that. He makes that connection with her, and it's like, And, like, my train of thought was, you already did that to her teacher. You just didn't drain him. But you punched him pretty hard. Which he also got dismissal. I just don't know if he's coming back. I hope. He is a little upset because he used to, I guess, hang out at her house. Not really explicitly that he kissed her or anything, just that he hung out at her house. He then yells out because Yuki and Subaru are right next to each other, kind of on the other side where the door is. Out that, like, hey, I'd love to see you back in my place, because she asked him that before when the teacher thing happened, and he was like, sure, whenever. And she's like, tomorrow, and he's like, she says today, and he's like, not today, tomorrow. And so she's like, better be tomorrow, better. But she screams that out, and she's like, oh, she's so pretty and beautiful, and then she starts crying, and Yuki's like, why with these tears? They drove off, and then he holds her, and then just, I'm gonna make out with you with tongues. That's my interpretation of tongue kissing. It's just a whole bunch of fingers together. Then he really, like, she then was like, he's like, whoa, you're like an ice skater, a figure skater. What's up? Wait, you have a fever. Then they go back inside. He kind of admitted that he was from Hokkaido. And then they see something about Hokkaido, and he's like, do you want to go with me? You passed out, you're adorable. And his vampire artist kind of happened when they started making out. So cool. And so they kind of been living with each other for 2 months straight now. Woo. She meets her friend Misa, or Mikasa? Not Mikasa, but it's like Mizaha, or something like that. And then you find, like, this other case happens that there's a person shooting vampires. And because Julie's a vampire, it's like, so he's not human. Nope, he's a vampire, that's why I'm not changing. You could be a little nicer about that too, you know. You find out vampires that have been killed, and they're all from headshots. And it's from this girl who whose backstory basically, and I think it's a girl, Sumi, and her mother died because her stepfather was a vampire, and it looked like he was about to drink her daughter. Mom shoots him, and then he basically shoots the mom and drinks her blood, And then she, as a little kid, kills him. Wants to get revenge off of all vampires and wants to kill them all, so it's a vampire-free world. You find out that statistics is that there's only like 10,000 vampires in the world. In the world. Next to the billions of humans that are alive. Julie makes a half-comment remark that, you know, now that demon or devils can breed with humans, you're not going to find a lot of pure breed vampires in the world anymore. But it's, you know, a 0.01% of them all alive. So she kind of overhears about the boyfriend because she's in the cafe with Tsubasa. She walks by and sees Yuki getting a gift for our little Tsubasa. He missed Christmas and he wanted to get her something. So cute. I love Yuki. So cute. Then she sees him and I'm basically thinking that she tracks him down. Goes home to her, Tsubasa. And she's like, why did you come through the door? And he's like, sometimes I want to come through the door. Like a normal person. I think it's him or her, like, admits that they like them. And he's gonna give her the gift. When he gets shot in the shoulder, he falls and she's like, no, the blood. And then she fires another round. Can't see them. Yeah, can't shoot. That should be statistical here. You don't keep firing shots. They'll come up. They'll come up. Video games taught me anything. If someone's shooting at you, you duck, you get to the next room. She does another one. The girl, like, she sees the shards coming and protects him, but the bullet whizzes by, but it slices into her face. Pretty bad, it looks like. And he's like, no. It looks like he wants to bite her, but then she touches his face, which he looks very gaunt at that moment. And he starts crying. Because he's really upset that she's hurt. Like, he's like, stay here. I've been shot. Get an ambulance too. But then goes out the window and jumps down. And Sebastian's like, no. And you find out that there was a heat detector in like airports and stuff. Devils, their temperature's really cold. It's like 80 Fahrenheit. So if you use this certain glass, you can see the people who are hotter than the devils who are colder. Tries to look around because she's running now. Girl who shot him. But he's on top of the buildings and is basically trying to, you know, knock her out, not really kill her. But she fires another shot and it's through his torso. And this guy grabs his leg and is like, you look pretty bagged up. Hey, I'm a half devil, half human too. You know what would really fix you up there? Because I know none of your stuff's been healing. What? A nice quart of blood! Right in his mouth. He's never drank blood fully. I think he's gonna turn. But that, my friend, is the end of the book! It's the end! It's the end of the book! It really is! It's the end! I want more! I'm addicted. I love this book. So I definitely recommend it. 17 and up though, because there is some nudity and some explicit things happening. But definitely recommend it. I've fallen for it, and I'm gonna see about maybe buying the next one as soon as I can. So, if you like this video, definitely like. Leave it in the comment section below. What do you think of Devil's Line? And who's your favorite character? I love Yuki. I love Yuki, but I also love the Tsubasa Yuki. I love it. It's so cute. But he definitely is my favorite character just because he's really sweet. He really cares. It's so awesome. I love it. So, if you like what you see here, definitely subscribe, that big red button, for the anime and manga that I'm going to be trying and hauling out in a Monday through Friday. And if you want to follow me on Twitter or Facebook, the links are down below. And I hope that you've been having a very wonderful, wonderful day. Wolfy-Chan out. Bye.